All right, what's up, Colts Nation? We're going to quickly go through the interior defensive line for the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the two we all know the two starting two going into the year, as if everything goes to plan, no one gets hurt. It's going to be Grover Stewart and it's going to be DeForest Buckner. So these two guys, they're aging, they're getting older. They're both on the wrong side of 30, and that's something to start to consider. Typically, once defensive tackles, once the interior defenders hit 30, not all the time, there are exceptions. But typically, once they hit 30, they start to decline. And Buckner's awesome. He's been the best Colts player for the past, since he's been with the Colts for 5 or 6 years now. Grover Stewart been with the Colts since 2017, one of Chris Ballard's first draft class. These starting two are awesome. Let's just go through the numbers for both of them. I have a couple numbers. So for DeForest Buckner going into his 6th year with the Colts, he has 67.5 career sacks. Not just with the Colts, it is his entire career. 6'7", 295 pounds. We all know he's huge. He's a big guy. He's a behemoth of a human being. And he had an 81.9 overall PFF grade last year. Lou Anarumo. Let's also bring up Lou Anarumo. I think that's an important piece to bring up because Lou is going to bring the best out of Buckner, Grove, and hopefully we can find an edge rusher, a dominant edge rusher. Hopefully it's JT Tuimalau. Maybe Kwity Paye can take another step with him. Maybe Samson Ebukam comes back and plays well. Latu. Whoever the heck it is, I want someone needs to make a big jump this year in the edge room. Because, look, we don't know what's going to happen in the interior. Grove and Buck, like I said, are both on the wrong side of 30. You never know when they're just not going to play the same. One of them might not play the same as they have been. And both of them are at the pretty much the top of their spots. Grove is more of a one-tech. They both play a little bit differently. Grove is more of a one-tech, not a great pass rusher. Forrest Buckner is like a three-tech. You put him on the outside, you put him on the inside, and he's going to give opposing offensive lines problems wherever he lines up. So Lou Anarumo coming in, he's going to bring more creativity and more stunts, and he's going to bring the best of these guys, better coaching, all that good stuff. So I'm excited for Lou to come in because Gus Bradley was very service level, wasn't really too much complexity to his defense. It was very simple, very basic. Cover 3, go out, play cover 3, blitz every 50, 60 snaps. That was pretty much about it. So having Lou, that's also going to make a big difference. But it's also worth noting that these guys are getting older. But, what I like to say, there's an equal and opposite force on, in just about everything in life. Where there's good, there's bad. Where there's light, there's dark. It's just kind of how it goes. So, 2024, Buckner didn't really fall off. 7 sacks, 21 hurries, 7 hits, 35 total pressures. Phenomenal. He does a good job in the middle of that defense. And let's not forget, he's very oftenly double-teamed. And he did miss a couple games last year. But we're going to see. Hopefully he can stay healthy because he has had injury. He has had a couple of injuries the last couple of years. Quite a few, actually. He's had the hip problem. He's had a couple of problems here and there. So just hoping that he can stay healthy, have a full season. And then, of course, Grove, too. Grove had the problem. He was suspended last year. I believe he was suspended last year or was the year prior. Other than that, Grover Stewart has pretty much been healthy and on the field. So, but like I said, Grove is kind of like a one-tech. He's going to plug that middle of the defense, really good against the run. He's very oftenly double-teamed when other teams are running the ball as well. So both of these guys require double teams at some times because they will wreak havoc, whether it's on the pass game, the run game. Grove is not a pass rushing type of defensive tackle, though. It's more so Buck. They both complement each other so well, Buckner and Stewart. It might be the best complement on the interior of the defense line in the NFL. It very well could be. Buck is one of the best 3-techs. He's definitely top 10 defensive lineman. And then you have Stewart. He's a top 5 1-tech in the league. Very good. So one thing you'll notice with both of these guys as well is they're also really good at batting passes. They're so big. So they have big arms, long arms, that they typically bat down a lot of passes, which is wonderful. Grove had 3 last year. DeForest Buckner had quite a few last year. So these guys are awesome. They're stones. They're cornerstones in the middle of that defense. Very important. But I think it is important to note that they are getting older. So hopefully we can, the big question is this room is the depth. It's depth and it's the future. That's my big question that I have. So let's go straight into it. Adi Tom, you want Adibore? kid out of Northwestern. High hopes for me. I was excited for him coming out. He was a little bit of a disappointment the first couple of years. Didn't really make too much of a difference. Was kind of an emergency piece, a rotational piece. Just kind of learning, trying to develop, trying to get his feet wet. And I think this is the first year we're going to see a little more significant time out of him. He just hasn't been good against the run. He's really struggled against the run, but he has been pretty good in terms of passing. So maybe he'll be a great pure pass rusher. Maybe be like rotational pure pass rusher, unless he gets really good and then he's just out there so much because he's that good against the pass. But Thankyou has a high ceiling. Like I said, it'll be in there obvious passing down, sprinkle him in there, here and there. But we'll see. He has high upside. I'm hoping he really makes worth of the opportunities that he's given this year. Really hope he makes them count. Then we have Eric Johnson. Is another guy. He's been in the league for 3 years. Hasn't really been out there too much. It is what it is. I don't know if Eric Johnson is a good depth piece or not. Obviously, you see us constantly going out, signing guys and bringing random guys in, trying to find depth, trying to find someone, behind Grover Buck, because whenever Grover Buck goes out, either one, when one goes out, there's a significant drop-off, and it's noticeable. It's very noticeable. So, hopefully Thankyou, hopefully Eric Johnson, even Neville Gallimore. I want one of these guys to be able to just come in and provide some relief and be a consistent relief. Not just, come in once in a while, be good. No, they're coming in and they're being bad more times than not. Significantly more than not. So, hopefully Eric Johnson, Thankyou, hopefully one of these guys to step up. I think Thankyou can, he's kind of like a tweener. He could be edge, he could be in the middle. I think he could do a little bit of everything. He's a little small, but that's not always everything, But hopefully he can develop because he has high upside. Neville Gallimore, like I said, he's kind of bounced around the league. He's kind of another thing. He bounced around the league. He did make some pretty noticeable plays versus the Rams, or with the Rams during their playoff run. So that's something to pay attention to. But, versus the best of best, he was playing really good. Why couldn't he do it all season long? Good question. Maybe he's that missed rotational piece. Like I keep saying, the depth behind Stewart and Buck hasn't been there, and that's why the Colts went out and drafted someone in Tim Smith. He was Bama. He was a defensive tackle at Bama. 5 years. 5 years. 126 tackles, 6.5 sacks, and last year he had almost 500 snaps in 2024. So he had continuity at a very high prestigious school. A lot of competition. They're bringing in the best of the best every single year. So for him to stick around, understand he's not, he's got to fight. He may not be the best on the line, but he stuck around. He was there for a little while, and I kind of love that he stuck with Bama. I like that, and maybe with some development, he has the potential to be, like a light version of Grover Stewart. Maybe just like Grover Stewart. Probably best case scenario. But like I said, the Colts are going out and they keep bringing in different faces because they know that the depth is rough. They know that the future may not be too bright. After Grover Stewart and Buckner retire, after one of the two, where they start falling off or whatever the heck it may be. What we have right now, it's not looking good for the future of, at defensive tackle. So hopefully someone here can step up. Maybe Thankyou can have that year. Maybe he can step up, be that guy, or at least figure something out and show more consistency at least. Maybe that's Tim Smith, comes out right away and he impresses in training camp and he gets a lot of time and right away he's just making an impact. And Neville Gallimore, another guy, bounced around the league, fighting for his career, fighting for time. We'll see if he can get in there. And then Devonta Davis. Kind of weird because you think of, a couple other, another player that really sounds similar to that, but that's all right. I couldn't find too much on him. Didn't really do much, if anything, at all in college. So it is what it is. You know, but we'll see. Like I said, it's a little grim looking at this defensive tackle room after Stewart and Buckner. At the top, it's beautiful. It's about as good as you can get, but you also have to start thinking about the future, and that's where I'm a little worried with this room. But this year, 2025, I'm not worried unless one of them go down. If one of them go down, I'm a little worried. Unless maybe Adetomiwa can step up, but until someone can step up and prove that they can be consistent, that they can make a difference, then I'm gonna think otherwise, you know. But that's all I got for you guys today for the defensive tackle room. Other than Buckner and Stewart, there really isn't too much to go on about. They're players that have been in the league for a couple of years, or just haven't made use of the opportunities. Because, like I said, you know, remember Grove was out with the suspension. Buckner has had injuries, so there's no reason why these guys couldn't have stepped up. But I think Adetomiwa can. I think he is the biggest guy to look out for in this room with Lou Anarumo coming in. He's very athletic, has a lot of speed, very twitchy. So Adetomiwa can be a fun player. I think if there's anyone that can get a lot out of him, get him figured out, it may be Lou Anarumo. So that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for tuning in to the JDW Sports Talk Show, or the JDW Sports Network. Still getting that confused, but another segment of the Horseshoe Hustle, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you for watching.